Members of the House, welcome to the House of Parliament, the House of Debate. Having said that, Honourable Speaker, I give notice that on Thursday, the 3rd of April, the year 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Finance and Social Grants Management, the Honourable Erika Shafuda, the following. As we are aware, gold reserves are a fundamental component of our country's financial stability, serving as a buffer against economic uncertainties and bolstering investors' confidence. They act as safeguarding during periods of market volatility, providing liquidity and supporting the national currency. Namibia's total reserves, which include gold, have shown significant growth over the years. According to the CEIAC data, by 2017, our total reserves stood at a little over $2.4 billion. However, these figures encompass all reserves assets, and the specific portion held in gold is not clearly delineated. Given the critical role of gold reserves in ensuring economic resilience, it is helpful for us to understand the current status and security measures associated with Namibia's gold holdings. This inquiry is particularly pertinent in light of recent security breaches, such as the theft at Namibia Desert Diamonds, Nambia, earlier this year, which raised concerns about the protection of our national assets. Therefore, I ask the Honourable Minister the following. Could the Honourable Minister provide a detailed information on Namibia's current gold reserves, specifying the exact quantity held and its assessed value as of the last fiscal period? 2. What is the annual volume of gold produced domestically within Namibia? Of this production, what proportion is allocated to augment the national gold reserves? And what criteria determine this allocation, if there is any? 3. How does the Ministry assess the role of gold reserves in hedging against inflation, currency depreciation, and global economic shocks, particularly in the context of our country's fiscal policy? 4. Is there any formal policy guiding the accumulation or liquidation of gold reserves? If so, what macroeconomic indicators or fiscal conditions triggers adjustments in the country's gold reserves? 5. Has the Ministry conducted recent risk assessments to identify potential threats to the integrity of our gold reserves? If so, what mitigation strategies have been implemented to address the identified risk, if there are any? 6. And lastly, what specific security protocols are in place to protect Namibia's gold reserve from theft or unauthorized access, especially considering recent incidents like the Nambia heist? I so submit. Honourable Speaker, I further give notice that on the same day, the year of April, the 3rd, the year of 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Environment and Tourism, Honourable Indileni Daniel, sorry if I'm butchering the name, I'll get used to it. The Etosha National Park, spanning approximately 22,935 square kilometers, is Namibia's premier wildlife sanctuary and the cornerstone of our tourism industry. The park's 820 kilometers perimeter fence serves as a crucial barrier to prevent human-wildlife conflict and to protect both wildlife and the adjacent communities. However, we are alive to the fact that the fence is in a deplorable state, with significant sections completely down, leading to livestock grazing within the park and wildlife straying into human settlements. I thus ask the new Honourable Minister of Tourism the following. Could the Honourable Minister provide an updated assessment of the current state of the Etosha National Park perimeter fence? Specifically, how many kilometers remain in disrepair and require urgent attention? 2. When does the Honourable Minister plan to visit the Etosha National Park to personally assess the condition of the fence and engage with local communities affected by its deterioration? 3. What is the projected timeline for the full reconstruction and reinforcement of the perimeter fence? 4. Since the deterioration of the fence, how many incidents of human-wildlife conflict have been reported to the Ministry? Could the Honourable Minister provide details on the nature and frequency of these incidents? 5. What specific measures has the Ministry implemented to address and mitigate the reported incidences of human-wildlife conflict resulting from the compromised fence? How effective have these measures been in ensuring the safety of both local communities and the wildlife? Honourable Speaker, I further give notice and to the Minister of Works, Transport. Are you communicating or is it just transport?
Minister of Floods.
Minister of Floods and of the Roads, the Honourable Veiko Nekundi. Congratulations, and here are the fire coming to you. In recent months, there has been noticeable increase in the sightings of the number of luxury government vehicles, such as BMWs, Toyota Prados, for instance, being seen in government use. This trend has raised questions regarding the government procurement policies for official vehicles, especially in the context of ongoing fiscal constraints and the need for prudent public expenditure. Given this context, it is imperative to seek clarification from the Honourable Minister on the government policy regarding the acquisition of official vehicles and to ascertain whether recent purchases, should there have been any, align with principles of fiscal responsibility and transparency. I therefore ask the Honourable Nekundi, can the Minister clarify the official policy governing the procurement of government vehicles? Has the government recently procured new vehicles for official use? And if so, could the Minister provide details regarding the types and number of vehicles purchased? 3, what has been the total expenditure incurred by the government in acquiring these vehicles? And under which budgetary allocations were these funds sourced? 4, what measures, if any, are in place to ensure that government vehicle procurement is conducted in a cost-effective and transparent manner in line with the principle of fiscal prudence and accountability? I further give notice that I shall ask the same Minister, Honourable Veiko Nekundi, on the same day, that the Popular Democratic Movement has consistently advocated and championed the clarion call for the establishment of a comprehensive government asset register as a key measure to enhance transparent governance, accountability, and the prudent management of public resources. The importance of such register cannot be overstated, as it would provide a consolidated record of the government movable and immovable assets, enabling more effective oversight and ensuring the optimal utilization of state resources. I therefore ask, could the Honourable Minister provide a comprehensive report of the total number and value of movable and immovable assets currently owned by our government? Is there presently a centralized or standardized system for tracking government-owned assets? And if so, could the Minister provide a detailed breakdown of these assets by category, location, and purpose? 3, given the long-standing calls for the establishment of a formal government asset register, does the Ministry have plans to initiate or implement such a register? If so, could the Minister outline the proposed timeline and key milestones for its development and completion? 4, could the Minister clarify the process followed when acquiring new assets and disposing of existing ones, and how these transactions are documented in the absence of a centralized record? 5, in the absence of this formalized register, how does the government accurately assess the value and depreciation of its assets, particularly immovable assets such as land and buildings? In the absence of a current asset register, what measures does the government employ to monitor and account for its assets, and how does your ministry ensure that this process aligns with standard best practices in the realm of public management? Lastly, to the same Minister, Honourable Nekundi, Transport and Works, it is common cause that Namibia's road infrastructure exhibits significant regional disparities, what I would term as road apartheid in this country, with economically significant areas remaining underdeveloped, while less viable regions enjoy better road networks. As an example, the Okangwati-Opuo-Epupa Road, vital for tourism and the substance of local livelihoods, lacks basic infrastructure such as bridges 35 years after independence, posing severe safety risks and undermining the economic potential of these towns. Likewise, the Uis-Korekas Road, Okahanja-Okonjatu, Kobape-Sochombinde, Epokiro, and the long sandy stretches in Omalapapa or Hangwena region continue to languish in neglect. Therefore, I find it prudent to ask the Minister the following. What criteria does the Ministry use to assess the economic viability of roads, and how do these roads influence decisions on road upgrades and new road networks developments? Considering the road's significance for tourism and local connectivity, when will the ministry construct bridges along the Okangwati-Epupa road to address safety concerns and improve accessibility? Will the government consider prioritizing these bridges as an emergency intervention, especially in the light of the dangers posed by unbridged rivers crossing, especially during the rainy seasons? What is the expected timeline for the completion of the Uis-Korikas road? When does the ministry intend to improve the Okahanja-Okunjatu road? And what factors have delayed its development? Are there concrete plans to upgrade the Kobabes, Uchumbinde, Ebukiro roads? If so, what timelines have been set for these projects? Is the ministry aware of the kilometers-long sandy stretches of road in Ohangwena region, especially in the eastern Ohangwena, or Malapapa to mention, and what immediate measures are planned to improve these roads and alleviate the community's challenges? Does the ministry have plans to review its road prioritization policies to ensure economic impact, tourism potential, and community accessibility are adequately considered? I so submit. Honourable Deputy Speaker, now I crave your indulgence to ask an oral Honourable Speaker, Honourable, I'll get used to it. Urgent oral question to the Leader of Government, Business and Prime Minister.
Almost made Deputy Speaker.
Can I have the gist?
The gist.
There must be a new word, Speaker.
There must be a new word. Otherwise, Honourable Katani must come back. Honourable Speaker, the gist of the question is, I want to know when does government intend to appraise this House on the so-called agreed joint declaration on the genocide of the Herero and Nama people. When are we expecting government to appraise this August House on that very important agreement reached by government? If it is allowed.
Honourable, can you first table your questions?
Questions.
Right, Honourable Prime Minister, would you like to respond to the question of Honourable Venani? Would you like to respond to the question of Honourable Venani, if you can?
Yeah, you see, Comrade Swart Boy was. It's a very important question, and we take very good note of it, and most definitely at an appropriate time, we'll come back to you, and we share with you the importance and significance of that question. Just as Okangwati and Opuo is very important. Thank you very much, Comrade Speaker.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Notices of motions.
Honourable Speaker.
Question still?
Oh, okay. Yes, Madam Mongo. Honourable Mongo. Oh, there are, okay. Honourable Mongo, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker. I have two questions to the newly appointed Honourable Minister of Health. Congratulations on your appointment, Honourable Doctor. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 3rd of April 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Health and Social Services, Honourable Esperanza Luvidao, the following. Last year, I have questioned the then Minister of Health and Social Services, Dr. Kalumbi Shangula, on mental health services in the country. He informed this August House that at the time that the mental health bill was submitted to the legal drafters in 2022 December. Since then, Honourable Minister, several milestones have been achieved, including the initial legal scrutiny, the return of the bill with queries in January 2024, and the organization of the workshop from March 4th to March 8, 2024, aimed at addressing these queries. Additionally, the Ministry allocated funds for contracting a consultant to support the finalization of the bill and its regulations. However, Honourable Minister, given the time lapsed and the importance of this legislative process, further clarity is required regarding the progress and the anticipated completion of the bill. I thus ask the Minister the following question. Could the Honourable Minister kindly provide a projected timeline for the completion and submission of the finalized mental health bill, considering the progress has been made thus far? Has the ministry engaged a consultant to assist with the finalization of the bill and its accompanying regulations as previously planned? If so, when was the consultant appointed, and what specific contributions are expected from their involvement? Following March 2024 workshop to address the legal drafters' queries, can the minister confirm whether all outstanding legal issues have been fully resolved? What are the specific areas of concern that remain, if any? And lastly, what concrete steps is the ministry taking to ensure the effective implementation of the mental health bill once it is passed? Specifically, how does the ministry envision to address resource allocation, staffing, and training to guarantee the bill's success in practice? Honourable Speaker, this is a question I'm reintroducing that has lapsed in the 7th Parliament. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 3rd of April, I shall ask the Minister of Health and Social Services, Honourable Dr. Esperanza Luvindao, the following. The Health Profession Council of Namibia in October 2024 issued a set of directives aimed at regulating the number of students admitted to nursing and midwifery programs across the country. These directives, Honourable Minister, includes limiting students' intake to 50 students per campus per year, restricting all institutions to take a single intake per year, suspending the opening of new campuses for nursing and midwifery programs, halting the approval of new undergraduate training programs, and requiring all graduates to pass a nursing council evaluation before being eligible for registration to practice. Moreover, Honourable Minister, it was underscored that institutions that have failed to comply with these directives risk having their approval withdrawn by the Health Profession Council. In response to the directive, the chairperson of the Association of Private Higher Institutions addressed the regulatory directives on nursing and midwifery training, emphasizing the need for a more thorough consultation process involving all stakeholders before the directives by the Health Profession Councils are implemented. Among the key points highlighted in the letter, it concludes with a request for an urgent meeting to discuss the association feedback, deferral of all directive implementation pending further consultations, and a commission for a study to evaluate other strategic options. In response thereto, the Registrar of the Health Profession Council of Namibia has seemingly recited the directive, explaining this in a letter written to private tertiary institutions such as Virtual University and the International University of Management. I thus consider it prudent to ask the Minister the following question. Is the Minister aware of this communication between the Health Profession Council of Namibia and the Association of Private Higher Institutions? Can the Minister clarify the current status of these directives and explain the rationale behind this apparent change in position of the Health Profession Council? How will the Health Profession Council ensure that it remains responsive to the changing needs of the healthcare system, while also maintaining high standards of training and protecting the interests of prospective nursing students? Why has the Health Profession Council of Namibia agreed to revoke the directive it has previously set out? Is it fair to assume that the Health Profession Council of Namibia is being threatened by certain private institutions to cancel the implementation of certain directives? In a similar vein, Honourable Minister, a reputable private institution sent out urgent letters requesting the Health Profession Council raise its new student intake to 200 from 50, as required by the authorized curriculum. It appears that this is an act of manipulation, Honourable Minister. What steps will the Health Profession Council of Namibia take to ensure that any decision made moving forward will adequately balance the concern of training institutions with the need to maintain quality standards in nursing and midwifery education? Can the Minister commit to the fact that the Health Profession Council's Nursing Council directive, which have now been revoked, stemmed from a comprehensive consultation, and it has also reflected the current educational needs, workforce demands, and healthcare outcomes, and were in fact evidence-based policies that derive from the empirical research? There are institutions which have admitted more than 50 students per intake and have also employed dual intakes, coming into direct conflict with the directive set by the Health Profession Council of Namibia. Have these institutions faced any sort of repercussions? And if so, what have been some of these repercussions? Have any institution been withdrawn following the failure to adhere to the Health Profession Council's directives? Following the revocation of this directive, will the institutions which have been withdrawn, if there are any, be reinstated? I so submit.
May you please submit your questions, Honorable? Yes, you have the floor, Honorable. You may go ahead. Once. I'm sorry, the system is not able to show your names as you ask for the floor. That's why I'm not able to call your names today. Please pardon me for that.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 3rd of April 2025, I shall ask the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Mines, Energy and Industry, Honorable Natangwe Ithete, the following. NamPower has proposed a 17.44% bulk tariff increase for the 2025-2026 financial year, citing rising operational costs and the need for financial sustainability. If approved, this increase could lead to higher electricity prices for consumers, impacting households, businesses, and the overall economy. Concerns have been raised about the potential strain on low-income families, pressures on inflation, and increased costs for industries and essential services. I therefore wish to ask the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Mines, Energy and Industry the following. Question number 1. How do you anticipate this potential tariff increase will affect Namibian households, particularly low-income families? 2. Are there measures being considered to mitigate the impact of the potential tariff increase on vulnerable communities? Question 3. What steps is the Ministry taking to assess the broader economic impact of such a potential increase on businesses and industries, especially those heavily reliant on electricity? 4th question. Has the Ministry, together with NamPower, considered other options such as improving energy efficiency or increasing renewable energy sources to mitigate the need for such a potential significant tariff increase? 5. Is there a plan to enhance NamPower's financial management or reduce operational costs to lessen the need for such frequent tariff hikes? What plans are in place to prevent future tariff increases if this proposed increase is implemented? I so submit, Honorable Speaker. And I have a second question, which I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 3rd of April 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Environment and Tourism, Honorable Ndileni Daniel, the following. Sports betting in Namibia poses significant social and economic risks, particularly among young people and low-income communities. The easy access to sports betting and gambling platforms has led to a rise in gambling addiction, causing financial distress, broken families, and mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. Many people chase losses, leading to reckless spending and debt without strict regulations and public awareness campaigns. The growing sports betting industry in Namibia could have long-term negative consequences on the Namibian society. I therefore wish to ask the Honourable Minister the following. What measures is the government taking to combat unlicensed gambling and sports betting operators in Namibia? Second question, how does the ministry regulate gambling and sports betting operators to ensure responsible gambling? Third question, there is a major concern of minors taking part in sports betting and gambling. What laws are currently in place to prevent minors from engaging in sports betting and gambling in Namibia? Fourth question, what penalties exist for operators who allow underage sports betting and gambling in Namibia? Question 5, are there age verification measures in place at different betting shops and online platforms? Question number 6, are there specific policies in place to address gambling addiction in Namibia? And lastly, how can communities and organizations collaborate with the government to tackle gambling addiction in Namibia? I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. You may please table the question. Honorable Ikumbu there.
Oh, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I have an urgent oral question to the newly Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Hengari Yambinge.
Hengari, no.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker,
Honorable.
the gist of the question is the lambskin disease in the northern part of the country.
I beg your pardon?
Yes.
The lambskin disease in the northern part of the country.
Yes, okay. Honorable member, before you start putting your question, I would allow you to put your question, but I don't believe that that question that you are about to pose now, and actually the ones that were posed by Honorable Venani, were not requiring to be pre-notified. I just want to inform the members, especially the new members, so that they don't believe that they can just take a shortcut and say that the question is urgent and put it orally when it's not. So I allow you some space today because you are new. It's a new parliament. So we are allowing it today because it's a new parliament. But honorable members, I'm sure that you want to have comprehensive and accurate answers to the questions that you are posing, which are questions of great interest. And someone who was driving may actually park to listen to the answer, and they may end up disappointed. I just want to say that. So, but you may proceed to put your question today.
Speaker. That's political interference, Speaker.
Yeah.
Let him put the question.
Yeah,
Let him put the question.
Thank you very much, Speaker.
The hot seat. It's on.
I know.
He's on the floor. He will put the question. You can ask for the floor.
Honorable Speaker, the business of Parliament has started. Therefore, the agency of the questions that we are posing, they are not coming from us, but then the general public that want to know what measures would be taken, particularly to the ministries that we are posing this question. So the question to the minister is that we have animals that are dying yesterday, dying today, dying tomorrow. On this lambskin disease. The question is, it's very urgent. It's very urgent that what are measures government has to contain this disease, and also in conjunction with that, there was a so-called animal pharmaceutical hospital to be constructed. If you have driven the road from Ondangwa to Oshakati, between there, before Danger Ashipara, on your right when you are on your way to Oshakati, there is a ghost building there. And it was supposed to be a animal pharmaceutical, where our farmers would acquire probably even subsidized medicine. Today, if you go to the northern part, medicines there, they are nowhere to be found. And animals are dying on a serial note. So what measures
does the ministry has to make sure that this disease is contained? It's really killing the farmers' animals. I so submit.
Yes, thank you, Honorable. So now I have to ask the member whether he would like to answer the question before I give the floor to Honorable Ampanda. Minister.
Madam Speaker, the question of the honourable member is very important. Livelihoods are being affected. I'm quite aware of that. And I'll come back with a ministerial statement. That would provide.
Very good. Thank you. Honorable Ampanda.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. I'm very much aware that presiding officers, particularly in the context of a speaker, has a wide discretionary power in terms of making determinations. Since we are in an induction period, I would really appreciate a clear distinction upon which such a discretion will be exercised. In this sense, that what would constitute, to the mind of a speaker, a question that doesn't require, what are the parameters of an oral question? Because you are signaling a warning that no, don't think they can cut corners, so that we are just very clear, so that we are not left at your mercy. To say that if there is a question that requires data, is a specific question that requires scientific responses, so that we want to understand, it will not be nice, at least for some of us, to be at your mercy, so that we also don't bother you by cutting corners, so that you can also assist us from your office as a presiding officer, that this type of question with these elements can pass the test of an oral question. These ones requires a comprehensive, so that we don't second guess each other. Yes, we proceed.
Very good. Thank you, Honorable Member. I am trying to assist you, and that is why we have that induction program. It is so that I can assist you, assisted by the technical team and all the other people that we have mobilized, in order that we can explain these issues. And I think maybe it was a blessing in disguise that this issue arose today, so that it now would come to our attention that it needs to be explained. So I think at the workshop we would explain that, so that we are on the same footing. Okay? Then,
Honorable Speaker.
Any further questions?
I have you, Speaker.
Now, I'm not seeing all the lights. Okay, is that another question? You have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It's just an addition on the question that was posed by the Honorable Member. He was talking of the lambskin. I just want to add on that one. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, a report was given early this year of the farmers in the Zambezi region, the crop farmers, that their crops are being attacked by the worms. Now the worms have grown to locusts. As we speak now, the crop farmers, especially in the lake, the Zambezi, are faced with the locusts which are attacking the maize crops. When the ATCs, officials of agriculture, are invited to go and help the farmers in the lake, the agriculture officials are telling them that you can come and get the chemicals yourself, and then you spray your fields, but then you should be very careful, because this chemical can kill you. Now, the farmers in that place are afraid to go and get the chemical because it can kill them. Now, on the other hand, they are crying because of their crops being attacked by the locusts. So, what can the minister, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, do for the people in that region or in that area of crop farming? Thank you.
Yes. Started with bullying. Yes. I just want to appreciate.
On what point are you
point of order or point of procedural matter? I rise on Rule 91.
That was cancelled.
91.1. When is that application? When is that its application?
I beg your pardon?
Rule 91(1). When is its applicability?
They go.
Explain to the speaker that rule.
You must explain the rule. What does the rule say?
Yes. So what is your question in regard to that rule?
There says a member elected to the assembly for the first time may not debate. When is its applicability?
No, man.
My understanding is when there is a debate. When there is a debate, that member cannot participate in the debate until they have made a maiden
speech. Just say you haven't read your papers, you don't know.
Which maiden speech is supposed to be, as we all know. Can I have the attention of everyone, please? Yeah, which speech is not supposed to be interrupted, and which speech is also not supposed to provoke interruptions. Yeah. So, but if what you want to say is that maybe some of the questions are coming across as discussions or debates, maybe that's another point. So but in regard to this one, I understand it to mean that. That the first intervention of a person other than a question is a maiden speech which cannot be interrupted and which can also not provoke interruptions. Okay, but he rose on a point of order. You can only make a point of order if there is another person. I don't know whether the other honorable member had finished making his point when he was interrupted by Honorable Mekundi. Because if he had not, I have to revert the floor back to him.
He's done. He's done.
Oh, he's done, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if he's done asking the question, I have to ask the person to whom the question was asked whether he was going to respond. And then I'll again come back to Honorable Ampanda. Minister, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The question that the honourable member raises is one of an agricultural emergency that is reflected with the previous question, and I'll cover it in a ministerial statement. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Honourable Ampanda, you have the floor.
Yeah. Speaker, the tragedy with the situation that we find ourselves in is that we are having both the session and induction at the same time. Yeah. We're just coming from an induction where this very question about 91 was asked in relation to the appropriation bill. It's unfortunate that yourself and Uncle Mekundi were not there where we dealt with that specific question. And the question was being answered, and we were made to understand a kind of undertaking that we are going to deal with questions of maiden speeches and 91 in particular during that process of appropriation bill. So that's an unfortunate tragedy that we're trying now to see.
Okay, meaning what? Explain that. What does it mean we will deal with the issue of maiden speech during the
91?
Yeah.
The Rule 91 question that Honorable Negundi just asked was also asked at the induction today. And because the rule indicates that the maiden speech is about 15 minutes, the officials, and in that discussion there was an undertaking that no, when the appropriation bill is tabled, because the question was that, okay, we are already moving into that debate of the appropriation bill, how are we going to handle 91? And the answers that we were getting is to say that, okay, you can use, before you contribute to the budget, you can use 5 minutes to introduce yourself and things like that. So that's an unfortunate thing that it is our understanding, particularly those of us who were in the induction, that what we are doing today does not at all include 91. Yes. That's a consensus that we seem to have received, including the officials who were administering this program. If 91 is applicable today, that basically means that whatever it is that we are doing at induction has no impact at all. So it is our understanding, and I hope it ends the discussion, that until that stage where matters of debate emerges, 91 is not applicable.
Yes, Honorable Ampanda, on that very important thing, unfortunately I was not there at the session today, but I will still feel comfortable if we can discuss that issue at the induction session there. I hope that the colleagues who are there to assist us are taking note of this very important issue, but I do have an appreciation for the new members to be provided with clarity on how this maiden speech arrangement, it actually works. But what is important for me to note here is only to say that the maiden speech is like the debut statement as a participation in a debate. And it is not so that asking a question is a debate. You know, you pose your question, you get an answer. So we are not supposed to have back and forth, actually. So we are supposed to have a situation where if the speaker says that's not an urgent question that qualifies, there is supposed to be no back and forth. That is why I was saying I give you, you know, I will show some flexibility today because I know that you may not be familiar with the rules. Yes, thank you very much. So I think, Honorable Swartboy, you have the floor.
Speaker, thank you. I have two urgent oral questions to two different ministers on the same matter. Would you give me major flexibility?
No, just a little, no flexibility for you because you are a seasoned member of parliament.
The gist, eh?
Now you must give the gist of the question.
Yeah, I just want to ask the newly appointed Honourable Minister of Works, Transport, Honourable Veiko Nekundi, about the time frame it will take to fix the bridges that were destroyed by the floods, and whether there are any bridges that may have been identified that could be a risky travel zone for motorists, given that the rains are still to come. The second is associated to the Honourable James Sankwasa from Zambezi region. If you would see urban roads, you find there's a major problem. From Katima Mulilo to Kachinakachi to Ketmansuop to Khobabas, everywhere, major potholes. In the city of Windhoek, it's even worse, especially from State House and all other places. Major problems. Katatura is worse. Gravel or tarred, potholes. The size of the potholes are increasing. The depth, the breadth, it's all increasing. Has he probably begun to talk to local authorities as to how to assist them to solve this problem? Because I know many local authorities are probably ill-prepared to urgently address the question of these potholes. And the risk of, can you please keep quiet? The risk of damage to vehicles and motor vehicle accidents themselves could be increasing. What is he thinking? What shall he do urgently? Thank you, Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Minister of Works and Transport, would you like to respond?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Swartboy, for the question. Indeed, the rain affected quite a number of roads countrywide, but in terms of the bridges that are affected, at the moment, are two. One is the one from Windhoek to Riobo. That bridge has completely collapsed, and a bypass kind of road for now has been created. That is one that is collapsed. The second road, the bridge that is affected, is the road between the Osona military base and the Osona village. It has been identified, and the road, that section, is already cut off for the public utilization. So we are then for asking the residents of Osona to drive backwards to Okahanja and take it back with the main ones who want to come to Windhoek. And those who are in the Osona military base that want to access Okahanja, they come to the highway, the dual carriage, and go to Okahanja. So those are the two roads that are affected. The Okahanja one, the bridge contractor has already been appointed, and we expect them to be on site already within this week. So we expect them, and the budget estimate to reconstruct that is plus minus $28 million. The bridge on the Aris That one, the engineers are busy constructing the designs to reconstruct that bridge. And we expect once we are done, it will take plus minus 7 months, because it's going now to be kind of a dual carriage. Remember that we are going to upgrade that road from Windhoek to Rehoboth into dual carriage. So the design will be made in that context. Thank you very much. And I hope the Honourable Member appreciate the response. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Notices of motions? Where? Oh, is there another question to Honourable Sankwasa? Honourable, you may please take the floor. And
okay. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I appreciate the question or the view that is raised. But we shall all appreciate in this House that the potholes are not an overnight issue in this country. They've come a long way, and that does not require a prompt answer today. It requires a proper research of what are the causative factors, one of which I can promptly say is the issue of every local authority experiencing financial constraints. And the cause of these financial constraints is the non-paying residents, wherein every time the municipality wants to enforce the payment for water and whatever, both my colleague's party will come in and say, if you vote for us, we shall give you free water. Thank you.
That's out of order. That is going completely offline. The Honourable Member knows that NAM Water and NAM Power are problematic institutions, places that were led by Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Dr. Kurari. So we must contextualize our comments in relation to the true facts that exist in the country. High unemployment is a social construct under the SWAPO party government for the last 35 years.
Yeah. Honourable Member, is that a follow-up question?
If we want to make simple questions,
Honourable Member,
we are ready for that.
You don't have the Honourable Member.
The Minister is also out of order.
You don't have.
Honourable
the
Speaker.
floor. Honourable Sampasa, can you please take it? Honourable Member, you didn't have the floor. If you wanted to make a point of order, you could have, but then you needed to hear him first until he's done with his answer, and then you can come, and make your follow-up statement or ask a follow-up question. No, yes,
Honourable Speaker,
Sampasa, you now have the floor.
I'm glad that the Honourable Member has said this is a SWAPO problem over a lot of years, 30 years, of which he was one of the governors under a SWAPO government.
Honourable colleagues to go for induction. I think you will do well to hear what is parliamentary debate.
He at least allowed you to say what you wanted to say when you were given the floor. Can you allow him to finish saying what he wants to say? Honourable Sampasa, or are you done? And then you can go and have the rest of the discussion over a cup of tea.
Honourable Speaker, I can only simply say the question by the Honourable Member requires a thorough research as to the causative factors of the potholes and the bad roads in all urban areas.
Very good.
So that will be coming our new assignment in the ministry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see one Honourable Member behind there asking for the floor. You have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Congratulations to the Honourable Ministers. First of all, the Right Honourable Prime Minister. for the appointment and the Deputy President as well. I have one oral question that's rather of urgent nature, and it's directed to the Honorable Indileni Daniel. Honorable Minister, through the Speaker, of course, the environmental clearance certificate is actually a status granted to businesses or enterprises, be local or international.
Yes, order. Yes, is there a point of order? Yes, Honourable Member, you may.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members, I wanted to draw to the attention of the presiding officer Rule 91 again on maiden speech, and I want to read it out. Number 1, that says, a member elected to the assembly for the first time may not debate in a house until he or she has made his or her maiden speech.
You cannot have a point of order on another person.
Yeah, Honorable Ampanda, sorry you can't.
Honorable George,
I'm on a point of order.
She is on the point of order.
I'm on a point of order.
Honorable Professor, please take your seat. Because it's a point of order.
Honorable
yes, but she's making a point of order.
Honorable Speaker,
the Speaker already ruled on that.
This is our own rules of this House. And if we start at this space of not respecting what we have set and approved or adopted in this very same House, it means that this Rule 91(1) will become irrelevant. Because we cannot sit here being addressed by the new members who has never tabled their maiden speech in a House. Okay. If the honourable members want to take the floor and want to participate, can they be humbly take it as a homework to present their maiden speech? After that, then they can be allowed. If we go like this, then this rule is no longer applicable and it needs to be respected by the House.
Honourable, thank you very much. You may take your seat. Honourable members, what I'm going to say is this, in order to conclude this matter once and for all. Honourable Mvula there, who has the floor, would be the last one to pose a question that is an oral agent question today. Because otherwise we are going to trigger a debate on what is an agent oral question, and it's going to be based on unequal information, and it degenerates into an argument. It's true. Because we now would say, no, this one should be able to pass an agent oral question. So now the Speaker would rule as to whether that question of Honourable Mvula is an agent oral question, and it would be the last one, so that we proceed to notices of motions. Because to say the truth, none of these questions that were posed here can really pass agent oral questions.
Point of order.
No, there is no one on the floor. You can't make a point of order when there is no one on the floor.
Point of order? No.
So no, I have already ruled that I'm going to give the floor to Honourable Mvula, because really we cannot let the House proceed in that direction. And we let this matter be clarified at the induction, because I can see that it is either that we don't have the same understanding of the issue, or we just want to proceed in this. Honourable Mvula, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The agent oral question is on the environmental clearance certificates.
How is it?
That are issued through the Environmental Commissioner's Office, that falls under the Minister of Environment, Honourable Daniel. Now, there are cases that were reported throughout the course of last year of people or enterprises, most of them local enterprises, that have made submissions or to be certified. But up to now, it's now 12 months, and some of them have been waiting for 2 years. The question is, what is the minister going or doing, or measures that the minister has put in place in order to increase efficiency and to shorten the turnaround period for granting of these environmental clearance certificates, or rather a rejection thereof, such applications. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Honorable. So here I would like to say, Honorable Mvula, that you should just put your question down in writing, because there is also a problem with members noting the questions that are posed in order to get information that fully and accurately responds to the queries that are raised. So the ministers are challenged here because they are scrambling now to try and take down questions that can be notified, so that they are in a position to go and get the information and provide the information to us. So please, colleagues, I can see, like I say, I have not heard any urgent question here. All these questions could have been put through the normal procedures, and I'm now proceeding to the next item on the agenda, which is notices of motions. Notice of motions. Notice of motions. Minister of Finance.
Honorable Speaker, I give notice that on Thursday, the 27th of March, 2025, I shall move that leave be given to introduce a bill to appropriate amounts of money to meet the financial requirements of the state during the financial year ending 31st March 2026. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Will the Minister table the motion?
Speaker, I want
any further notices of motion? Is it a notice of a motion? We are not going back. We are now on notices of motions. Any further notice of motion? None. Messages from the head of state? None. Ministerial statements? Ministerial statement. Right Honorable Prime Minister?
You taught me already, so thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Please allow me to provide a brief update to this August House on the flash flood situation experienced last night at Kalkrand in the Hardap region. Kalkrand village received significant rainfalls measuring over 100 millimeters on the 24th March 2025 in the evening, which lasted for almost the entire night. The rainfall has resulted in serious disruption of livelihoods, damage to properties, and closure of schools due to flash flooding. In order to have a thorough understanding, the Office of the Prime Minister, joined by the Hardap Regional Council, staff members deployed a team to Kalkrand to conduct a rapid assessment. The Village Council Disaster Risk Management Committee meeting was convened this morning, Tuesday, 25 March 2025, to establish the magnitude of the damage caused by the flash flood and determine the type of assistance required for the affected families. Honorable Speaker, the following are preliminary findings of the rapid assessment. One, about 722 households are affected by the flash flood. B, or rather two, the $5 location is the most affected as it is more exposed to the flowing water. 3, the roads infrastructure are damaged, with most roads being impassable. 4, electricity cables are exposed. 5, some businesses are closed, and pathways are severely affected, limiting accessibility and causing delays in response. G, there is no water in the village due to a pipe burst, but NAM Water is attending. Honorable Speaker, he's smiling. Yeah, but NAM Water is attending to the situation. And flood water is flowing into drainage systems, causing contamination risk. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the following actions have been undertaken to mitigate the impact caused. One, as a precautionary measure, consultations held with relevant stakeholders in the village, including the Ministry of Education, resolved that schools in the village be closed today. And 4 classrooms have been availed to provide shelter to the affected households. Communities are being engaged through various platforms, including radio, to take all the necessary precautionary measures. Health services are restored, with additional medications being arranged. The Ministry of Gender and Child Welfare has availed premises for the shelter of the vulnerable affected households. Finally, Honourable Speaker, as an immediate relief, the government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, will avail tents to support the village council with a temporary shelter for the affected households, and will provide food assistance to all affected households for a period of 3 months. And finally, will engage with the Ministry of Health and Social Services to ensure continued availability of needed health care to the community. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Ampanda.
So, Speaker, I rise in terms of Rule 136.1.
What rule? Say that again.
136.
136.
I just want to establish whether what the Honourable Prime Minister did, if you are aware of it, in terms of 136.1, before my second question, before 2 kicks in. I just wanted to establish that with yourself. 136.1.
Yeah, so what is the question specifically?
I rose in terms of 136. One prescribes a particular procedure. So I'm asking you, because the function is that of a speaker. Were you aware of that statement?
If I was aware that what?
In terms of 136.1.
Yes, but you can just say it. I don't have to read the rules.
Oh,
you
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean I must read it out for you?
Yeah, say what it is that you are querying.
Okay. Were you informed before that update? Because the rule says that a minister who wishes to make a statement on some public matter for which he or she is responsible must inform the Speaker of his or her wish before the beginning of the sitting at which he or she wishes to make the statement.
Can you take your seat if you want me to answer?
Yes, because I wanted to ask to establish that before I start with 2.
Yeah, take your seat. Like I said in the beginning, we are currently carrying out an induction program. And it is only for that reason that all of those supposedly urgent oral questions that you have posed were not disregarded. None of them met the requirements. But if we want to agree that once the Speaker sees that, we will just dismiss that until all of you have conformed, the Speaker can also do that. I use my discretion the same way that I use the discretion when the opposition MPs pose those questions. And I will continue to do that. If I see that the deviation is too significant, that it can cause problems, I would use my discretion to rule an action out. I don't think there was any harm caused by the Prime Minister informing the House that there was that emergency. And before you also, it's an important point that I have to make. There is also a difference between requiring somebody to answer a question impromptu, where they are entitled to be notified, and a person having urgent, important information to share with you. There is a difference there, because the person who has to answer a question is rendered unable to deal with the question adequately because they were surprised. There was no pre-notification. There is no opportunity to refer, to sources of that may enable them to verify the information.
No, thank you very much, Speaker. It's fine. It's very clear that there was no notification in terms of 136.1, but you are giving us a latitude as new members.
No, I'm not giving you a latitude. I'm exercising a discretion the same way that I exercised it in regard to the opposition MPs who were allowed to pose questions that actually do not qualify as urgent oral questions.
Okay.
Yeah, it is correct.
So, Speaker, I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
no,
I hear you.
You are wrong. I'm saying you are wrong, and you are now debating with me. Yeah. Okay. Now just proceed to your other point. Yeah.
So, Speaker.
Yeah.
You can't say I'm calling us out. You can't say it's supposed to. No. You can't say supposedly urgent.
Honorable. They are not agents. Okay, honorable member, those questions were not agent. I ruled that they were not agent.
Your ruling is wrong.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. Now, honorable, you please, can you make your point? Yeah.
You want?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
You want to start like this?
Like what? I didn't do anything. Just go ahead, honorable.
Okay, Speaker. Thank you very much, Speaker. Look, there is no issue. I don't even understand. There is no issue.
Okay, just...
The information is appreciated. The information is appreciated. I just wanted to understand, because my intervention is relevant to two. Okay, so I'm saying when you say you utilize your discretion, when I'm talking about
Honorable Ampanda,
so there is no issue.
I think what is happening now, you are debating.
No, I'm saying there's no issue.
Yeah. I'm hearing you, but I'm saying what is now unfolding, what is now happening is a debate.
No.
Yes. It is a debate, unless if you have a second question, because I thought you said, I have this first question, I need to hear your answer so that I can go to the next question.
Yes.
So now please just go to the next question so that we deal with questions and not debate.
We will do that. Speaker, you won't tell me how I will debate. I'm saying I accept your explanation. I may not agree. You will not tell me how I will debate.
I will.
I will then go to 136. I'll go to 136.2, Speaker, which was my second intervention. Yeah? Yes. I accept that.
Yes.
I will go now to 2.
Yes.
Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, thank you very much for that update. But obviously, I know water is closer to your heart, but I'm a bit worried about an update of a particular area. There's been a lot of rain all over the country. May I therefore request, in line with 136.2, so that yes, you're passionate about it, you studied it, but may we receive a comprehensive update of the impact of flood at the national level, at the Office of the Prime Minister. I know you have at your disposal the Disaster Risk Management Office and all those, so that we can get a proper picture. Because I don't know what to do now with the information of one particular area when water is coming from Angola all the way affecting everyone. I know you are capable, I know your office, you have the institution at your disposal to provide us at the next session with a comprehensive picture so that you can take us into confidence so that we are able to understand and appreciate exactly what is going on. Thank you very much.
Very good, thank you. Honorable Karonda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It's an impromptu question. To the Right Honourable Prime Minister. And I think it links up pretty well with Honourable Ampanda's suggestion. I've seen that we've had floods as well in Karutura, I think Axtelan. And most of what I've seen, or at least observed, is that apart from people having been flooded, there are structures. I think the problem is compounded by the fact that people put up these structures in a most danger-prone area or flood-prone areas. And it's hard to escape the water when it starts flooding. I'm not sure how similar that, the feedback you gave us, how similar it is to what we've seen here in Axtelan. And perhaps coupled to that, of course, as proposed, other areas in the country where people may have been affected as well. If we could have that comprehensive assessment, but also proposing perhaps more permanent solutions, one of which could include, of course, giving our people areas, service land where they can put up, better structures, far from the dangers of nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Werikwa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Myself, I would want to draw your attention to the responsibility of a Speaker as far as 27(1) is concerned, that indeed to maintain and preserve the order of and the proper decorum of the House and uphold the dignity and good name of the House, read together with 91. Now, and then again, addressing myself to 91, which indicate, of course, some of us are restrained in terms of participating, considering that we need to respect.
Already ruled on the oral agent questions to say that there are no longer going to be any agent oral questions today because none of those questions that I had were really agent. We have moved on to ministerial statements, and in terms of the rules that regulates the ministerial statements, it is allowed to have a few questions to seek clarification on the statement that was provided. So it is in that regard that I gave the floor to the members that I gave the floor to, and I would like to give the floor to the Right Honourable Prime Minister to respond, and then we will proceed to the next statement. But I note what he said.
Thank you very much,
Yes, we are getting there.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Prime Minister. Yeah. Now I give the floor to the Minister of Works and Transport for his ministerial statement.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Okay. Just for ease of reference in terms of our protocol, today at 19 minutes past 1 o'clock, I give notice to the Speaker's office that I shall make this statement. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, fellow citizens, and road users, the Ministry of Works and Transport acknowledges the concerns raised by the Rehoboth commuters regarding the newly constructed one-way bypass road following the damage to the Windhoek-Rehoboth Bridge. Authority is committed to address these challenges promptly and efficiently. The construction of the 350-meter-long one-way bypass was an emergency measure aimed at ensuring continued connectivity and access for road users in the wake of the bridge damage. However, we acknowledge that the one-way bypass has led to increased travel time, congestion, and safety concerns. In response, we are pleased to inform the public, our dear public, that the Road Authority is currently engaged in the construction of a permanent two-way bypass. That means what we are now constructing as temporary one, we are now upgrading it into 2 lanes, and it will also be permanent. Even if the main bridge will be reconstructed, that one will still remain intact. Further, to address concern regarding dust and road conditions on the temporary bypass, the Road Authority has implemented regular road maintenance measures, including wetting the road surface to reduce dust and enhance driving conditions. This will ensure a safer and more comfortable travel experience for all our road users. The Ministry urges the public to remain patient and to exercise caution while using the temporary bypass. We are working tirelessly to ensure that the permanent solution is delivered within the stipulated time frame, bringing relief to our commuters who rely on this critical road link. On behalf of the President of the Republic of Namibia and the entire leadership of Namibia and SWAPO Party in general, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the men and women who worked and are continuously working tirelessly to ensure the safety and completion of the Windhoek-Rehoboth bypass. To the road users, we appreciate your cooperation and understanding as we continue to monitor and improve the travel conditions. Our commitment remains steadfast in ensuring the safety, efficiency, and sustainability of Namibia's road infrastructure. Remember, your concerns are our concerns. Your cries drive us to solve your problems. Lastly, I'm urging our colleagues in the media to spread this message with the utmost positivity. And thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good. I can see there are no questions. I can see we are done. Yes. Is it? Yes. Honorable, are you making a ministerial statement?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable
Yes,
Speaker.
you have the floor,
Mine is about Rule 101. A member may not engage in grossly improper conduct in the House and its forums by deliberately creating grave disorder or disruption. Again, Rule 101F, acting in any other way to serious detriment of dignity, decorum, because some honourable members are calling us idiots and some honourable members are misbehaving. So, Honourable Speaker, we want to call the House to order. Thank you.
Yeah, honourable member, you have to speak in a language that we can all follow, unless if you ask for arrangements to be made for a translator to. No, then you should have pre-notified me, and then you ask, and then I make the arrangement. Now you are out of order, Honourable Senior Member of Parliament.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Now, Honourable, may you conclude your intervention?
Honourable Speaker, if the situation cannot change according to Rule 101, I want you to make use of your powers according to Rule 102. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Speaker.
Very good. That is noted.
Speaker.
I'm sure all of us can hear. We are in agreement that we are here. Honourable, we are here to promote the agenda of the Namibian people. Now we have concluded the agenda of the day, Honourable Member. We now. No, Honourable. Sorry. I didn't give you the floor. May you just please take a seat?
Because the minister finished and we want to contribute. We are just hearing.
Oh, so you are asking a question on the statement of the minister. Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for that specific intervention. May we equally also receive the National Transport Master Plan. We keep losing a lot of people. At one event, I think it's Honorable Nekongo, you were talking about many young people who are losing their lives on those roads. May we receive from your ministry what is the actual transport master plan, so that we are also able to understand what will the transport master plan do? Because we just hear randomly, you don't even know what's the direction. You hear there's a road here, one road is built, and then they stop it. What is the transport master plan of our whole country? If we could receive that, it will enable us to be able to study it, to be able to, for purpose of predictability, so that we are with you. When you stand up and say, deliver good news that the road between Windhoek and Rehoboth is going to be a dual road, it shouldn't be necessarily new information. Then we are with you. That knowledge, we know exactly, oh, this is what is planned during this phase, during this period, and this is how it's going to be funded and things like that. So we really appreciate that at your earliest convenience, Minister.
Very good, thank you. There was another hand somewhere. None? Okay, would the Minister like to respond?
Yeah, I will respond positively, and I appreciate that. In fact, I can really observe that we are in the process of induction. You see, the purpose of a question after Menina's statement is to make a question in relation to a statement as presented. What is that is not clear, or what do you think that there is missing in the statement? That's the purpose of that rule, to make a follow-up question in that regard. Not
point of order.
No. Let the minister, he's responding. When you ask a question and the member gets up to respond, you cannot interrupt them.
Point of order.
No, point of order cannot be made when a person is responding.
Just say that you don't allow it.
No, it cannot. When you pose a question to a person and they are responding to you, you cannot make a point of order while they are responding. Please.
In terms of the rules, once I raise on the point of order,
I
must indicate what rule am I raising.
No. In fact, you ask for a point of order and you are given the floor to make a point of order.
So you are not allowing me to
I have not given you the floor to make a point of order, because you cannot make a point of order when the person is responding to you. Yeah. Okay.
In terms of the information the honourable member then needs, is very much important. The master plan is available, and we shall just make the necessary copies and distribute. However, it's very much imperative, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members, to appreciate that the road master plan, it is basically a derivative of all the constituencies who have committees that engages on the roads that they see it fit to be constructed in their constituencies, is then filtered at what is called at the regional level. The regional level would then say, if in your region there are 10 constituencies, these constituencies that each one have then its own committee. Now each constituency, assume, will now come with 5 or 10 roads that they think authority. It will then come to the region. The region, there are now 10 constituencies. Now they will then filter. Out of the 100 roads submitted by all these constituencies, we will now only take out 5. Now, out of these 5, it then comes to the national. The national will then take out of them, then become, let's say, 50. Out of that 50, let's assume we will then take out 25 for the next 5 years. So that's how it is done. However, if there is any circumstances that permit deviation or to add, that is again being considered within the permit of the enabling legislation. However, I shall bring that to Parliament so that all of us are on the same page. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Honorable.
Thank you, Speaker. On the ministerial statement on Rehoboth Bridge, congratulations everyone that was recently appointed. Looking forward for very good performance. My question on your statement with regard to Rehoboth, you mentioned about the article in the newspaper that the residents are not happy with the detour or the bypass, but you did not answer on what are you going to do on their happiness. Are they going to be unhappy with the bypass for the next seven months, or are you going to upgrade the bypass to a proper standard that satisfy the road users?
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member. I will just give more details to that so that possibly the Honorable Member understand better. The first is the issue. The first complaint is about the dust. And in my statement, I have exactly then says we have directed road authority, and they are already doing that. That at every intervals there is now a truck with water to wet the road, so there is no more dust. That was one complaint about the dust. So the truck is now on site and continuously is wetting the road so the dust does not rise. That is one. So to address the concerns of our residents is one. Second one is the time, because now there's only one line, cars out, so we must wait for the flow from Rehoboth to pass, then you stop Rehoboth, then take from Windhoek to Rehoboth. That is the current situation. So road authority is then now directed, and they are busy as we speak. Yesterday I was on site. They are now busy constructing the second line. So they are now, 2 flows is now moving. And that will be completed within 3 weeks. So the second line will now be operational. So that is how we are going to address the concerns and the cries has been submitted to us. And we understand it positively, and that will be executed. And we are sure with this positive message, our residents will be happy and all of us will be happy. What we are doing is that we must ensure that our residents shall bear no cries. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Honorable Minister. That concludes the program for the day. I now ask the Right Honorable Prime Minister to adjourn the House until tomorrow. The House? Huh? What is it?
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I adjourn the House until tomorrow. Eh?
Yeah, until tomorrow.
No. I'm being advised.
One moment, Honorable Prime Minister. One moment, please. One moment. You may take your seat. Take your seat for a while. Come, Honorable Mr. Muyato. There is one more item that we need to deal with, but we should have a break of not more than 15 minutes, and then we convene back to dispose of that last item before we adjourn. So the House rises for tea for 15 minutes. Yeah, no, there is one more item left.
This is NBC One. It's ours.
Welcome to another episode of One on One with me, Lot Ndabanamata. My guest, Madam Amina Mohammed, who is a deputy
Aloysius Kangulu, Honorable Professor Job Ampanda, and Honorable McHenry Venani. The selection committee would be required to make arrangements for their sitting as soon as possible, and an announcement would be made in that regard as to when that date would be. So that concludes the program for the day. That is the only thing that remained. I now, why do not 2:30? Why?
It's 1,400 hours.
Yeah, okay. We have concluded the program for the day, and I would like to ask the Right Honorable Prime Minister to adjourn the House until Thursday. Huh? Until tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow is Wednesday, ne? But the name, comrades, huh? Don't give me bits and pieces of information.
No, we do
you
not
should have told me.
We do not have items until Thursday.
No, the House adjourns until Thursday at 14 hours 30. And the Right Honorable Prime Minister is kindly requested to adjourn the House until Thursday.
The House stands adjourned until Thursday, 14:30.
Yes. We don't have any item tomorrow.